There we go, gotta look the part. What is up guys, Snopsig here, and today we are taking a look at the Suunto M3 compass. As you can tell, we're already off to a great start. Alright, let's get into this. So this should be a fairly quick review, but I just wanted to share a piece of my 10 Essentials kit with all of you guys, and that is this Suunto M3. I've used this for several years now, and it served me pretty well. Now, full disclosure, I don't use compasses a whole lot. For me, personally, most of the time when I'm out there, I'm using GPS, mostly on my phone, but I have used other GPS devices, and it's pretty rare when I'll need to pull out a map and a compass, or often I'll just use a map alone without the compass. But using a compass is a really important skill to have, and so of course I always take one just in case I need to use it, like in an emergency for navigation. And of course I've used it on like navigation courses and things, and so learning to use a compass is a really important skill. So I thought I'd give a quick review of this compass. So if you are looking to pick one up to add to your 10 Essentials, or you are looking to learn a little bit more about navigation, that way you can be informed if you are thinking about choosing this compass. Now, a few things to note. One, you want to be careful when wearing a compass around your neck so you don't strangle yourself, because this thing can get caught on stuff, and that's not good. So we're going to pop that off for right now. I would almost never wear it around my neck like that in the field. But number one, it's got a nice long lanyard. This is quite useful because if you don't want to lose it or whatever, you can throw this around whatever. Just put a girth hitch. You can girth hitch this to basically anything, and then you know you're not going to lose your compass. So along this lanyard though, you'll notice a couple things. It's got like a little thing, a little lanyard holder so you can take it apart if you need, or remove the lanyard, but it's got a little adjustment tool right here that I always keep with it, and that is because this is an adjustable declination compass, which you can use. I'm not going to get into like all of the technicality, like what declination is and all of that, but basically it's the difference between the magnetic North Pole, which shifts due to the interior of the Earth. Anyway, it's complicated. Basically, the magnetic North Pole and the true North Pole on maps are usually different, and it changes depending where you are, and so you need to be able to adjust your compass as such. So this does have adjustable declination with the handy little tool there, which has been very useful. It's got a couple of other features. Of course, clear base plate, very lightweight plastic construction, pretty small. It's got a magnifying glass right here in the center. It's got a couple of different scales along here that you can use with different map scales. So as you can see, it's got 1 to 50,000 and 1 to 24,000, as well as 1 to 20,000 and 1 to 25,000 in miles and kilometers measurements, and those are just common map units, basically. So that means what this would mean is basically 1 unit on a map would be 50,000 of that unit in real life, 124, so on and so forth. And so this can be useful for measuring distances on various maps. Similarly, you also have a ruler along the edges, with measurements both centimeters and inches, which is of course very useful. And of course, a straight edge is very useful for like triangulation, plotting on a map, doing things like that. All sorts of navigation relies on a base plate compass having that straight edge, so very important. Finally, you've got the bezel itself and the needle. Now, this is a North American compass, but I'm planning to just use it in North America, so that's not really a problem for me. It's got a very nice bezel, rotates nicely. The bezel around the outside is also glow in the dark. You can see it in dark environments. It's got, of course, grid lines along the compass the compass itself, so that you can orient it on a map and use it for taking bearings and things, of course. It's got a very nice red arrow to use for navigation, and of course the compass needles itself have a little bit of glow in the dark paint as well on the north facing tip. so that you can see it in the dark, which is handy. Now, the one thing you'll notice that this compass is lacking is a mirror. And this is a perfectly usable baseplate compass that I've used on navigation courses. I've used it to take bearings. I've used it for triangulation. I've done all of that sort of stuff with it. Do I do it often? No, I very rarely use this, in fact. But I know that I can because I've used it in the past, so I always take it with me just in case I need it for an emergency situation. Because it's a compass, it's very reliable, very robust, very durable. This thing's been, beaten around, whatever. It's been in my pack for like years, so it's definitely taken a little bit of a beating. Holds up fine. But it does not have a mirror, and if I were to go back, I probably would end up getting one with a mirror, just because it does make taking those bearings and things a lot easier. But if you really don't plan on using it very much, I think this is a totally adequate option, and it's one that I think will be totally accurate even though it does not have a mirror, it should work for most applications, and I think this is totally usable in most all situations. It's just that having that mirror makes sighting bearings and things that much easier and that much more precise, and or I guess I should say that much more accurate, which can then translate over the long term, if you're using this a lot, into more accurate navigation. But because I don't really rely on this very often, I think that it's okay that I did not get one with a mirror, and I think that the M3 is a totally usable option if you're going to just be using this as like a piece of your 10 essentials or whatever, and you're not planning to do a ton of wilderness navigation with it. Another thing to note though is that this is probably the lowest in price that I would really go down to, because I previously owned a compass, also by Suunto, that I believe it was the A10, that did not have the adjustable declination. Big hassle, do not recommend. Get yourself a compass with adjustable declination. It will save you so much headache if you ever need to use it. Just get the adjustable declination model. It's worth however much extra it costs. And so this is probably one of the lowest end that I would go, but I think it's a totally workable solution. But if you are going to toss this into your bag as part of your 10 essentials, make sure that you do have the knowledge and the skills to use it. So I would definitely recommend looking up some navigation videos on YouTube, reading about it, or even taking a course. I did all three. But I think the M3 is a totally workable compass, and I think that it is a solid addition to your 10 essentials and your backcountry hiking mountaineering kit. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.